So yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming. Obviously, you know who I am. I'm the broker for Realty Group. We have been in business since, or I have had a real estate license for 25 years, and I've been a real estate broker for 23 of those 25 years. And then I've been in banking for 40 years. Wow. But between the 30 years and the 25 years, I did auto, I did mortgage, insurance work, work for Michael Casey. He was he's too, and if I get there. So I still know a lot of people on that outfit. So um giving you guys a lot of information. It's mostly business information of what's going on in this marketplace, where we were at and where we are now. Because no doubt about it, we are going to have to um, adapt and come, right? So, how to succeed in 2026, okay, with all the noise? Well, first and foremost, uh, go to bed and meditate. Turn off the phone, leave it on the other side of the house. Same thing in the morning. Don't wake up and immediately go to your phone. Meditate, pray, do whatever you need to. Okay. Every day when you wake up and then you start grabbing that phone, there's always a problem. Somebody always is asking for prayers because they're stopping at the hospital, whatever, right? Or somebody's correct, something happens. There's always something. So meditate, take care of yourself first before you go out into the world and try to focus. Okay. Um, so you can even get a if you are gonna pick up the phone, make sure that you have an application that has like birds or the ocean or whatever, or if not, there's a lot of prayer applications in all my offices. Okay. So I certainly recommend that. So pray and get yourself a prayer book and disconnect. One of the things that I read are books like this. They're like, it takes you 2 minutes to read it, but I'm actually going to read this for you today. It's called Presence, dated February 20th today. Okay. What are some of the benefits of being in God's presence? God's response, now the Lord is the Spirit, and wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, he gives freedom. You will show me the way of life, granting me the joy of your presence and the pleasures of living with you forever. I command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. God's promise. When you go through deep waters and great trouble, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume. But the most important piece here is I command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and discouraged. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Uh, do not fear is actually mentioned in the Bible 365 times. It's for you guys that don't. Now, for those that are Christian or Catholic order, and I know everybody isn't, whatever. At the end of the day, whoever your God is, the main thing is that there's power and just find yourself a good church if you don't have one and get connected because in the end, it goes far beyond the materialistic side and the beauty all goes away and it doesn't matter how good looking you think you are. In the end, you want to work on yourself rather than work on the business. Because then all of a sudden, God will open doors and windows. Okay. So my church shared this about, and I'm not going to read it, but not only do you want to fast, you know, because it's a sacrifice, right? Because Jesus Christ did fast for 40 days, and that's the reason why we go through the season. But nonetheless, what ends up happening is that that's toxic people. Yes, that's from diamonds. Once again, get away from folks that just want to talk about other people and just get away from those folks that want to tear up your hopes and your dreams or whatever. Your peace. Yeah, get your peace so that way you can move on. So there's a saying something about it's a small phrase, protect people. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So once again, start off your day with some peace and before you go out into the world, because no doubt about it, you're going to need it because it's The world isn't only this. Now, the other thing that I recommend that you guys do is that, and I read press, but for whatever the reason, I have like 10 books that I've started and I have not been able to finish. I mean, the distractions or whatever. Because I don't watch a lot of TV. I mean, it's rare for me to actually even sit through the 2 episodes of Grey Anatomy without falling asleep or going like, okay, another episode. Yeah, it's better. People work in brain and read. So do the audiobooks thing. I mean, because I mean, I'm reading the Bible and it's like 10 hours long and I'm already like an hour to read. And it just reads it to you when you're, I mean, don't listen to the music because, um, I mean, learn something. That way you can get better every day. I mean, or just polish yourself up. Now, um, the audiobooks that I tend to do have to do more with more mindset, new skills. Um, Awesome people like Brian Cardone is someone I love him. I'm not sure you guys know who he is, but if you don't, he's an incredible man. Um, uh, Tim Robbins is magnificent, great motivator. He's always pushing mindset as well. And Jim Rohn is from the 70s and the 80s, and Tim Robbins took his football and made it his own. So but I still love Tim Robbins, but Jim Rohn, I'll go back and do the old stuff uh, because I still do the old stuff like for music and stuff. I'll go back and do that. I want to know who originally sang the song. I know that this nowadays it's a version of it, a watered down version, so the original's better sometimes. But love Robbins. He's magnificent. Who hasn't heard of Kawasaki? Which one important? And that one has to do tremendously with mindset. And man, you guys are in real estate. You guys are in real estate. You guys have the competitive advantage over many other people. Okay. I just went to my high school reunion and I had all these folks like in law enforcement, border patrol, and everything. Oh, I have this company and that company and da da da. And I know that you're in real estate and da da da. I'm like, but I'm in San Antonio. I'm not here. I can help you. But what I recommend that you do is get into real estate. If you're going to be the electrician, the plumber, the haymaker person, you have a cleaning company, you want to buy properties, fix it, flip them, and or whatever, build houses. You know, get into real estate. That way, process procedure of phone call, or more than the regular now, right? So, um, so once again, leading on with some great folks, Grant Cardone, Tim Lewis, and Slinky Jim Rohn. Napoleon Hill is pretty awesome. Jim Collins, Dale Carnegie, Jordan Peterson, and Dan Martell is a new guy that he's the one of the gurus right now. There's a lot of them out there, but he happens to be my favorite because in my opinion, he's a little bit more accessible, more grounded. He makes a little bit more sense to me, rather than some of the other guys that are. I mean, they're all good. It's just I relate more to him. Two. Yeah. So some of the books. And you guys are gonna get my notes. I mean, don't write them down. Okay. Rudy, quick question. Yes. No, no, to who? Who do you relate to the most? A guy named Dan Martin. Martin. He's all about technology. So first and foremost, I love his story. He was a troubled kid, didn't come from a good family. He ended up in jail. He picked up a book having to do with code, and he's got to be my age. So probably when he was maybe 15 or 16, he picked up a book of code, which code is what you need to write all this programming. Okay, and that's how he made his millions of dollars. See, he became a software developer on his own thing, and then slowly became a millionaire. And now he's out there, but he's got a real balanced message for folks. He tries to impact the young folks. He's very motivating. He's a family man. Um, he's just I don't feel like he's trying to sell me. It's something that I relate to, and I like that because as a realtor, I don't like to sell. I like for you to buy. I want to be part of your journey and I want to give you knowledge and perspective and listen opinion. I want you to feel you're going to buy the house because they can to buy it, right? So that's the reason that I like it. Some of the books that I have read that are like unbelievable, probably here in the last 6 months learned. And I'm going to start with the book of Proverbs. Okay, it's a book from the Bible. There is not a lesson that you can't get from that doesn't impact your life. It's awesome. Okay. And then there's 38 letters uh, from J.D. Rockefeller to his sons. I mean, just like beyond, beyond, beyond to the point I read it once. You know, the guy was just really in his time, you know, and to write those letters, how he did it. I mean, which, like I said, so when you go to when you go back to the basics, you realize that the dynamics of saying, you know, the market might change and technology might change. It's there's some things in basics that you know, it's just all the advice that a kid needs to hear to go all into the world and do well. Okay, so that's probably one of my favorite things. Thank you, grow rich, rich that poor dad who hasn't heard of one, right? And especially if you guys are realtors, I know you guys should be in real estate. If you're not first, you're last, which is I just completed the homework for the second time. It's a book on Grant Cardone, and wow, it's amazing. Um, so the 10x rule is pretty good by Grant Cardone also. Good to great is good. And it's real awesome because it talks about like the companies from the 70s to the 80s, kind of thing when all of those changes were going on, everyone were starting to happen kind of things. It's delicious if you're from that time, right? Because then you know the history of what happened. Um, the Millionaire Next Door, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. You definitely need to read that one. The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. The Richest Man in Babylon. You gotta read that one. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Buy Back Your Time, which is from Dan Arthur. And then 12 Rules of Life by Dan Peterson. So you know that guy. So in the end, guys, you're in this marketplace that's real noisy. So the moral of the story is that it's a duty to be successful. Because remember this, and I've been saying it for years and years and years, is that for most people, you guys end up being the most educated person, most well-rounded person, the most well-connected person that most people know. So you guys not being in tune with who is doing what and why and how to get it and get it done and do it, you know, efficiently, you know, it's your job, it's your duty because we impact the lives of others. Okay. So um, remember that it's a duty to serve others and help others is a gift. Money allows you to live the life that you want. However, we focus so much on money because what do we want to do? And we want to spend time with our families, take care of others, right? Some of us take care of mom and dad, right? And then, of course, give back to the community. You know, and as Christians and everything, we're told, you know, be humble and da 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 da. And well, no, God's telling you to go out into the world, put on your armor, and you know, and fight for your right, live a good life. You know, not live in a frugal country, not get anything. On the contrary, we're so blessed to live in the greatest country in the world. We're blessed beyond belief, all the abundance of resources and opportunities. Okay. If you want to, I mean, once again, God wants you to use your God given talents, you know, to impact the lives of others, right? So use your money, give back to the church. Use your money and build houses if you want to. You know, buy clothes and give it to poor people if you want. But if you don't have any money and you're not the best version of yourself, well, what are you going to donate? What are you going to give? Right? And sometimes you just give, you know, your time. Uh, you volunteer. Sometimes you give advice. You know, don't do that. I wouldn't do that. You know, I mean, how many lives have we all not changed? Because I know it's happened to me. You know, uh, through my lifetime, I've been involved in decisions where I was like, oh my goodness, I just showed up for this and I have to do this. And then all of a sudden, you're going to regret the rest of your life. You know, You're gonna blink. This moment's gonna pass. In 10 years, it's gonna come. You're gonna regret this decision. Don't do it. You're gonna hate yourself, and you're not gonna make your parents proud. You don't do it, right? But even that's a gift. Being in the right place and time to give people, you know, empathy and grace, and because they might not get it at home, right? So, um, so don't feel guilty. God wants you to live in a life of abundance so that you may help others. Okay. And I'm covering all of this, guys, is because first and foremost, so proud of the PRG agents. Once again, you're fiduciary licensed by the state of Texas to help others, to help people, to help consumers that you make your clients. One of their journey to purchase real estate, their biggest investment that they will make in their life. Remember who you serve, their families, their military families, their Christian families, new families. You, swinging down a pole and doing things that you shouldn't, or being vulgar, or advocating for things that you shouldn't, doesn't help your business. Because once again, anything you put in social media, and once again, guys, no offense to anybody, but if people needed a check and they were with us, I know that when that message went out right before I went on vacation in December, that message went out specifically because it was more like, okay, well, I, as a good father, and we're proud of our organization. We're so proud of you guys. Okay, so we just wanted to make sure that you don't get that you wouldn't get caught up in the craziness, because I know that you guys are friends with other folks at different brokerages. But in the end, you still have to go home, and the next day you have to go to church, and you have the first one of the confession. What are you referring to? Well, what I was referring to, that we published a message on our private page. We sent it out to everybody, letting everybody know that it was, the holidays, and that there was going to be a lot of partying and a lot of alcohol, and to remember, that with great power there comes great responsibility, that you guys are licensees, and to remember to not do anything that you were going to be embarrassed for, and more importantly, that the families that were your past clients and your future clients were going to see your conduct. But it's not okay. Five people do it and it's wrong, and you're not strong. You're doing it doesn't make you know. That's the new builders party, so we kind of put it on. Yeah, I mean, what's the enforcement and stuff. But there were some younger folks that just feel like they didn't get that hot. They didn't, they didn't come to me open. Don't sit here. We're needing a check because your conduct is unbecoming. Don't do that. Don't embarrass yourself, and don't embarrass us. Well, we love you, right? Sure, right. But in the end, it was more to give you those things. I know you guys are adults, you guys are professional, but at the same time, sometimes when you're in the circle, sometimes you need to remove yourself if it doesn't align with your values. It's not. Oh, yeah. Okay. So once again, or yes, exactly. So the message was that right before we got into that season, I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that you needed to make yourself proud and not embarrass yourselves, because sometimes things get crazy. The party at 8 or 9 o'clock is not the party at 12 o'clock. Yeah. So once again, the last thing you want to do is show up with pictures, and it's not good. This is good for business. Yeah. So either way, let me move on. So one things that you guys are going to need into the future, okay, is, I mean, obviously, we all have, we're all accomplished in one way or another, that has brought us to real estate. Okay. But if you can't do code, you still need to embrace AI or technology. Okay. Code is something that's created by somebody that actually has the patience. Not everybody can learn it. I mean, it's like science and chemistry or whatever. I'm not going to learn. Okay, but there's applications and there's classes that you can take, some of them as low as $29. There's a whole lot of stuff online that you can do for free, on YouTube. And I know of a case specifically where the gentleman did not get, he only got a high school diploma and studied everything on YouTube and was hired by Facebook in New York and he was making, and it is low. And he was making like $130,000 for Facebook. He didn't have a college degree, but he learned everything that he could on YouTube. Okay. So his life is set because I mean that's the field to be in right now. Whether you work in a data center here in San Antonio, or you go out, to Austin. And then so that you realize how powerful it is, we're gonna see all kinds of millionaires here, here shortly because of technology and whatever. There's different things going on. No doubt about it, guys. So that you realize the numbers, and this is out of the maybe like 14 months ago, the number one city in the world that has the most amount of millionaires, and it's over 30,000, is Austin, Texas.
Uh, Looking
Okay.
wow.
Okay. And that's because Austin is a technology town.
Right.
Okay. The technology job in San Antonio pays 120 and Austin they pay 180. Right?
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's just they left their jobs and now they're doing stuff online, making crazy money. They're doing other things. Okay, because it opens up an abundance of opportunities if you know how to code. But then those people are selling you an application for $29 or a class for $49. So that way you might not know how to code, but you know how to use the technology. Right now, guys, I've been doing a mentorship program because I'm going to start another business here much later after that. I've been getting up at 4 in the morning just to study. I feel like I went back to college, but it's a lot of stuff. I'm overwhelmed and I'm old fashioned. A lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of videos there's a lot of stuff that's smart that I can print, and I've been highlighting stuff and making notes because that's my time. But in the end, embrace technology, embrace learning. Because I mean, here we are thinking, maybe I'll pass my time or whatever. I'm like, you need something to use your phone. You can tweet. There's a lot of stuff to do. And who's to say that you're not going to live to be 100 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you, my mother-in-law who just celebrated this weekend her 62nd wedding anniversary. Oh, 62 years ago. Um, Oh, she's on her phone and she doesn't know she asked the kids or the grandkids. And I'm like blown away with, wow, she's still hungry. She wants to do her Facebooking and her FaceTime and da 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 and see the photos, do all that other stuff. And now obviously she's gonna be really interested in that stuff and she wants to be known. Okay. Well, she is 85 years old. Okay. So don't get discouraged. On the contrary, reinvent yourself. I mean, technology, the only purpose of technology, guys, is to make your life easier. Okay, if you embrace it, because sometimes you feel that once you learn it, it does get easier. There's stuff. And I love logging onto my bank, and I don't have to log on as FaceTime and not FaceTime, love those things, and then all of a sudden I'm in. I didn't have to be at a computer and type in and da 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 da, right? There's a lot of listen data, and there's more complicated things, and then there's stuff that folks who are using and hurt other people, right? But in the end, embrace the technology, enrich your life, and for what it's worth, how can you take that knowledge, make your business better, and impact the lives of others, right? Because you can't tell me that your sign is not another factor in my life for sure. Because suppose we need to come in to send the application, we meet in person and do those kinds of things. And if I don't go to closing for many folks, I don't even know who they are. I've never met them. They might send their ID or upload it. That's the reason that I go to closings. I mean, obviously, you guys get to know who they are, right? And then there's some people that do come in, but it's rare. Probably, 95% of them, it's log DocuSign, uploads, those kinds of things, texting, emailing, all that other stuff. So, but anyways, the coding, you can't do code, but you can embrace AI and technology. Okay, different classes offered everywhere. And it's the same classes, guys. Because if your Facebook and your Instagram and your YouTube doesn't look the way that it needs to, trust me, and we try to put those classes on the other words, it's real hard to get all that stuff out there available to you. There's classes constantly at Sabor. at almost every title company, and they're usually the similar classes, whether it's contracts, technology, or compliance, or whatever. Okay, just get yourself there and get yourself better. Now the next thing, a few things that you're gonna need. You need obviously technology. You need capital. You need money, right? And that's the reason that you're in this business. Okay. And then your folks need investment properties. They need a primary residence, and for them it's an investment. But you need money for everything. Money is unfortunately, that's not the root of all evil. You do a lot of things with it. But certainly money moves a lot of things. Okay. So and then of course you have to be able to collaborate, guys. Because if you're lost, or you're not getting it or you need help, the power of many helps. Okay, there's places, there's other brokerages where they say they're a family and that they have a team and yada 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 yada, but then all of a sudden you go on vacation and then your deal's falling apart because nobody wants to step in. And then at other brokerages, they have down a toll-free number, or if not, they have so many agents that your appointment with the brokers next Thursday, and it's this week. And next Thursday, you trust me, your deal's falling apart and nobody wants to help you because you're not on their in their downline or whatever. Okay, that's not the environment that we have here. You guys know that when you catch me in the hallway, I always take your calls after hours and weekends. The reason being is that if you know that I'm helping you when you see somebody, if somebody calls it for you, just take your call. Because if I would take yours, I'm trying to lead by example, help others. Okay, there's no greater joy than helping others. Okay, so once again, I mean, you can't do their job, obviously, but you look and get concerned and try to help them and answer their question, give them a difference. Those kinds of things. Okay, um, but collaboration, guys. I mean, there one thing that's real popular right now is smaller groups. Smaller groups to do like a community open house. Why not? It's a marketing opportunity. And as the market continues to change, people get out and about. And then all of a sudden, this technology thing also is getting a lot of our people lazy because they want to solve everything through a text and an email, and they don't want to get in their car and show properly. That's the reason builders, I don't know if you want to, but many builders have a policy that if you're not with your client on the first showing and they service your client, it doesn't entitle you to the commission on that sale. Okay. Which incidentally, guys, the builder has every right to ask you for marketing. Okay. I'm going to share the situation that I shared it last weekend with you. Is that December 31st, which was my daughter's birthday. My phone started to burn on between the agent and the title company as well as the broker on yours. We have the listing, and our listing agent told the buyer's agent, "Hey, we don't do 12B. Get me the broker and market. We'll be glad to pay you that compensation." Well, then lo and behold, the weeks went by and everything, and then we got to the closing table and she was asked multiple times where that broker rumble was and she didn't pay it. So lo and behold, the compensation um, was not paid. And I had even the broker um, advocating on behalf of their agent. Um, and there was no broker submitted. The compensation wasn't in 12B. And furthermore, um, he was trying to justify that the paragraph at the bottom of page 10, I hate that paragraph, by the way. And a track if you're listening to whether it's agents from this office or agents from a different brokerage. And if you get me on the phone, or if the broker gets me on the phone, I will have a century. Okay. And it clearly states that it's for informational purposes. It does not obligate, it doesn't contractually obligate the seller to pay the compensation. It must be done through a broker to broker, or it has to be on full paper, fully transparent of the compensation. Full transparency. So lo and behold, it doesn't matter that you see you're the best brokerage, or anything else, if your agents need the coaching, the training, the support, And that was my question to the bank. I'm like, okay, well, we've been under contract for more than a couple months because it was a cancellation. Um, where was the support then? Which is incidentally, guys, I know you guys have um, whether you close a lot of business or not. I mean, you have a support here. We have a compliance department. We have contract review. For those contracts that are tricky, kind of thing, whether they be farm ranch, right? So, but in the end, you always have an opportunity to send in your contract for review. I mean, I can look at it on my phone or Clint can as well and say, hey, you're this, or whatever. Make sure you do this. I mean, it just takes a couple of minutes. But lo and behold, that agent didn't get paid. The contract was not in compliance. We couldn't advocate for the compensation to be paid in closing because the seller. The reason these lawsuits happen is because many of the sellers couldn't understand why. Okay, well, you're my agent. Why am I having to pay somebody else? But the conversation wasn't had of, well, you're paying me, but you're paying my brokerage, but I'm going to split the compensation to attract another broker so that way your house sells. Because if we don't pay them and we don't entice them, well, how is your house going to sell? Because nobody works for zero. I mean, you don't show up to Exxon or USAA, and then at the end of the week, don't expect to get paid, right? Well, with some need. You don't know if you're going to show houses for a week or six months, right? So lo and behold, that is what actually has created the mess. Us advocating for the other brokers to get paid would have violated our fiduciary duties to the seller, and we would have found it. And I told the title company as well, and this other group, we probably would have ended up in a case study in a textbook when they discussed that say board champions because it was on the wrong path. I mean, it was completely out of you know. And he even threatened me to get his attorney and all of that jazz. And I was like, sure, not a problem. I'll be more than happy to give him a contracts 101 class. Because I know what I did.
Listing agent got the 6%.
Hmm?
The listing agent got the 6%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
If you took the listing
And
under
the-
5A,
Yeah.
if you took the listing under 5A, the only time the listing agent can collect both compensation is intermediary or when you represent an unrepresented buyer.
Yes.
And in this case, because there was another agent, what happens is that other compensation that we were going to share and the broker to broker wasn't submitted, the seller's net was $9,000 more, which was the commission that was going to get me to the legislature. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that
your
makes
listing
sense.
agreements, you need to know your forms for
Yeah.
that reason.
Mhm.
Okay.
I've got a question. So there's a new form that came out for that recently. There, do you know the number of the one?
I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
I just-
Well, what it is that it is going to change. It is February. They said it was going to be February.
Okay.
So if you want to get it to me, we'll dissect it. You have no idea how many conversations we had about the compensation as a team because once again, when you guys call in, you might not get me or Claire, but then Christina knows about it or Alejandra knows about it. I mean, we've had so many conversations with so many agents in this place, you know, rather than being told a total number. I thought about it, but nah.
That happened to me in December and I got the compensation because it was an unrepresented buyer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, absolutely. So once again, guys, and same thing there is that when you have an unrepresented buyer, don't cut your commission. Even if somebody says, well, I don't need an agent and I'm an agent or I'm a broker or I'm an investor and I do this and da da da. You sit down at the kitchen table and told your seller, you want to charge you 6%. And you throw that property on the market. And a wholesaler, investor, I don't care who it's even another attorney, unless he puts himself as that, he's representing himself and he's going to write his contract, but he can't represent himself if he's telling you to write a contract. Correct.
oh, yeah.
Okay, in that case, okay, you practice family law, you're not a real estate agent, so you need me to flip up the contract and get it, and then you'll read, right? So at that moment, you don't need to discuss the compensation. And you can submit whatever offer you want. I'll fill in whatever blanks. We have promulgated forms. I'll fill in the blanks. Okay. But the discussion of compensation Doesn't have to happen. That's between you and your seller.
Mhm.
That's it. You don't have to have a discussion. You can submit whatever offer you want, and that's it. And then at closing, the listing agreement states that if you work with an unrepresented buyer, you have the right to collect both sides of the compensation. And that's one of the advantages of working in this business, because I can tell you that at every major franchise in this city, that is discouraged. Okay, when the market starts to change, where it becomes a seller's market, it's your listing. You have the competitive advantage, and that would give you the opportunity to collect both compensations. Why would you want to rebate? Why would you want to give it away? And there's many times agents in this office ask, and so I'm just curious to find out, did they ask or did you offer? Oh, well, I let her know that if I did both sides, I would only charge. What? It's double work. More phone calls, more texting. You have to be at the home inspection. And forget about that. It's if the seller sues you, you're deduct. Guys, you guys have errors and omission. Make sure you always pay your transaction fee, even on your own deals. Because I had an agent here recently in Houston, sold her own property, and then they didn't do title work, and then they didn't do a survey. It was a cash deal. All they did was convey the money and did a general warranty deed, and that's it. All of a sudden, the buyers wanting to sue the seller, who is an agent, and then all of a sudden I know about it because they filed a complaint against her. And then I get her on the line and go, what happened? Why didn't you pay your transaction fee? It was only $500. And you get under, why did you pay for the survey? Why did you not close the next company? It's only a $35,000 deal. The title policy could be more, let's say 1%, or $350. So you pay 500, transaction fee 500. Why not pay $1,500? But then you're done with the transaction. Now she's going to be faced with what? Paying those $35,000 now plus her attorney. And that's going to be like $10,000 just for, you know, because then she can't build what she wants on free, so she doesn't want any use. Okay, so don't waive your transaction fee, because if you waive your transaction fee, sometimes we don't know about it, so we're not even covering it under E&O. If we don't know about it and I don't know about it, you take on the full burden of anything financial going on with that transaction. Okay, so in this case for her, it's 35,000 pieces for this. Okay, so it's not worth it. Okay, do it. I mean, there's too much money to be made in real estate not to do it the right way and not to follow our SOP. Okay, so once again, uh, errors and omission. You pay your transaction fee, right? But it's not car insurance. You pay your car insurance, and then in the event that you have a wreck, well, then there's a deductible, right? So when you do both sides of the transaction, the seller can sue you just like the buyer can sue you. So then you have two deductibles. Okay, so why would you want to waive your commission? It's double work. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself, because then it never fails. At okay, well, I'm gonna call her at 10 o'clock, and I'm gonna call her at 6 in the morning. I'm gonna call her Saturday and Sunday. If she's already doing it for free, then she must not have anything to do. All right. Okay. So always put value on your time more than anything, because money it goes comes and goes, but you'll never get your time back. Yeah. So, but remember this, guys. There is only a problem with price in the absence of value. If you add value, people won't, they won't even mention, wow, look at all the work that she did, took all these calls and negotiated for me and all of this other stuff. You know, going deep. There's only a problem with price in the absence of value. We are not a discount brokerage, guys. We are a transaction broker. There is a difference. Okay. So once again, embrace technology, embrace AI. Obviously, um, we're all in this business to make money or help people with their investments and stuff, um, as well as you want to collaborate. And then um, the uh, other thing is I went to this seminar on, not seminar, it was mastery on Friday. It was steakhouse. And I might have not conveyed my message correctly because I told them, well, we want to go back to basics and talk to people. Because once again, you can have AI on online, technology on online, but nothing replaces the sound of your voice. Nothing replaces the fact that you show up to the closing or to the final inspection or the home inspection. It doesn't matter. Be present in your transactions. Be present in your transactions. You want to be like being a good parent. Okay. You have good kids because you're involved with them. And in the end, there's a good result. Same thing with the realtor. The outcome is there because you were involved. There was a problem, and sometimes we turn into therapists, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, once again, we do so many things, but in the end, be involved. Okay, um, but no doubt about it, nothing will replace the sound of your voice in your presence. Okay, but in the end, we do want to market to many. And for those of you guys that aren't embracing social media, once again, you have an opportunity to get a video out there every day telling them, my name is Rudy Lozano, and I am a real estate broker. I help first-time home buyers get through the mortgage process, through the real estate process, and they'll build a home for them and their family and get them to the closing table. That's what I do. And I make it a pleasant experience, and I make sure that we retain your interest and we negotiate the best deal in town for you. What do you next? Hmm. Right? And it didn't cost me anything. I was flabbergasted. Yesterday, I was at the VA with my spouse. For those of you that don't know, he came down with some weird bacteria. He was sick for the entire month of January. And then all of a sudden, the bacteria made it into his heart, and he was on antibiotics and everything. So they put some camera in his body to check, make sure that that bacteria or infection was gone, and thank God everything turned out. Wow. Well, I've been at the VA more than I wanted to. Just the month of February, I've been there 3 times. And then on January was really my specialization of 2 weeks. So, but in the end, I don't know if they have training. Do you guys have training? Over there, yes. Like, wow, since I left, yeah, yes. Unbelievable. Everybody's so nice, so polite, respectful, and then the lady yesterday said, okay, well, God bless you. At the end, what was that? It was amazing. It was white glove, VIP, so compassionate. I mean, so caring. I mean, wow, I've never been to any hospital where that treatment was top notch. Exceptional customer service. I was blown away. Because all you hear is complaints at the VA. I'm like, are they going to the local hospital? Maybe they going to like some clinic or something. At the VA hospital, blooming. Okay. But nonetheless, when I did that video yesterday, it's already got like maybe 45 likes or something like counting over like 600 views and everything. And and I haven't been posting very much. It's been a lot of work for me to do it in the last 40 days. I'm just posting now, and I'm like, we're good. But kind of like my heart wasn't in it kind of thing. I just been posting essential stuff. I don't really post like everybody else. It's sometimes annoying, sometimes it isn't, but well, I really that won't go away. He keeps on showing up on my feeds. But anyways, in the end, guys, you guys, because no doubt about it, you guys sell real estate. Your product and service is real estate, but you're in the lead generating business. Okay, doesn't matter the product, doesn't matter the service. You are in the lead generating business. Because once again, you're not seeing these billboards or who even pays attention to them at all, right? I mean, sometimes I'll go up and see it. I'm like, okay, whatever, right? But social media, if somebody's part of your sphere, and you're marketing out. I'm like, hey, check out this great opportunity. The mortgage payment's going to be right under $2,000. It appears to be a brand new home. The builder's offering a 4.9 interest rate, you know, when my credit unit's telling me 6 with 20% down. I mean, it's a great deal. Wow. All of a sudden they call, they go, hey, Oscar, I saw your ad. We're in the market to purchase a home. When can we get together? Mhm. Right? It happens. They'll call you, right? They go, I mean, they know that you're in real estate, but you have to be out there. Whether you're a buyer's agent, because once again, if you're a buyer's agent and you're not walking through a home every day and doing a video every day, you don't even have to be in front of the camera to, a voiceover. Hey, we're here at this home. It's a three bedroom, 2 bedroom. Listen, whatever the builders three months, it's great. It's the existing market. It's close to keep it evergreen. I mean, it's close to 16.4 and Big 10. It's in the NISD, the school district, whatever you have to say. Keep it evergreen because you want that video to stay on YouTube or social media as long as possible. The moral of the story is that you're talking about the inventory, right? But in the end, what ends up happening is that they're going to call you. Conversely, if you're going to take on a listing, if a consumer, and I'm a seller, and I'm needing to sell, the first thing I'm going to do is log on to either Facebook or Instagram. If you're young, probably a TikToker. If you're a professional, you might even do LinkedIn, like if you're a doctor, lawyer, or whatever. You're gonna log on to LinkedIn. So um, people will Google you or chat GPT you first before even considering using it. And if you haven't posted anything, you're not relevant, it looks like you're in retirement or headed there, they probably won't be yours. They're going to think that somebody's not qualified. Or they think they're bothering you because maybe she's so busy or he's so busy that he's not posting anything because he's got too much business, right? And that's not the case, right? Does does anybody know how many from the does anybody know the percentage of folks that didn't think anything last year? 74% of agents nationwide didn't close one deal. Not throughout the country. Okay. The year before it was also 70s. The year before that it was also 70s. So we're talking about 2023, 24, and 25. Okay. So that you realize the numbers as a company, in 2022, we closed 1,700 transactions in the year before as well. Maybe from 2020 to 23, 22, we closed 1,700 transactions. The last 3 years, we've only closed 1,000. Sounds like a lot, right? But we were closing 1,700. Okay. So 74% of agents didn't close one deal. Now I'm going to give you some other numbers. We had 169 agents from the 200 agents that we have in this office close one deal. Repeat that. We have 200 agents, and from those 200 agents, we had right at 100 and I want to say 64, not 60, 164 agents close one deal. So our agents did pretty good, right? Because we bring on experienced agents. Most of our agents are from the major franchises. They figure out that they don't want to pay all that money, and they get better support here at the office. Yes, and then they end up coming here, and once again, we have value. When you guys pay, we learn a lot of that. Right? Um, so no doubt about it, you're in the marketing business. Okay, so what do you need? You need a system to generate good ideas, which you can talk to ChatGPT all day long. I hear folks having a love affair with ChatGPT these days. Well, ex-host, right? A system for creating high quality content, which once again you can ask ChatGPT for that. A system for maximizing personal productivity. Okay. A system to maximize personal productivity. Go to the gym, work on your process, work on your systems. Know what you're going to do every hour on the hour. Okay. A system for getting your content seen by the masses. Market to many. Okay. A system for generating sales every single day. For you to get a sell every day, you need to be marketing yourself every day, even Saturdays. A system for efficiently scaling your business. There are folks that are very strategic on who they work for. They know their market. There's folks that will not show property past 281. And here they are, I want to go to Shantima. And it's a mess. I mean, you have to dictate what your service area is. We have an agent that is starting to get a little bit older, doesn't, want to drive into the city if he lives in Berkeley, right? So know your area, but be a valid candidate in that area so that way you don't get involved in such, but market yourself, because it's coming, guys. And if you don't prepare, once again, there's a lot of these young folks, and I hear the conversations. I mean, we have folks from all walks of life, and we also have different folks from different age groups. Your presence matters, and let me tell you, experience matters. It might not be in real estate, but if you were somebody important in the medical field, corporate life, those kinds of things, I mean, you never know. Okay. But you bring all of that to the transaction. It all manifests there. Okay. So once again, these young folks are even skipping college altogether. And no doubt about it, if you're maybe the younger crowd is okay using somebody that maybe is young and they don't have children or whatever. But my folks, I market on Instagram and Facebook with more than 75% of my stuff gets opened on Facebook more than Instagram because, yeah, I'm a little bit old. I'm 54 years old. So what ends up happening, my folks on Instagram, the Border Patrol agents, the people that I know personally, they're in that caliber, right? They're not the young people that, I have even had folks tell me, well, I want to become a realtor and everything. All my friends before, they live with their parents. Okay. So if it's not your market, it's not your market. Now they're supposed to try to get maybe the aunt, uncle, their friends, their family, and if they come across as being knowledgeable, I'm sure that they're doing some pieces. But I mean, if you don't know anybody that is in a position to buy a house, it becomes a challenge. But if not, you have to become one hell of a market, right? So once again, work on your systems, on your processes and everything. Look at too many, get on social media. Because once again, the younger folks, are marketing just like that. I mean, they're fearless. Okay. But market to your people. Because trust me, if there is a young girl and then it's you and they're looking at your a $400,000 home, or let's say 800,000, or let's say 1.2 million. You really think that they're going to go with the inexperienced agent? Probably not. They're going to go with mom and grandma that has kids, that's lived corporate life, and they knew who you were back then, and now you're a realtor, and they would rather use somebody that might mess it up, right? So once again, they don't have what you have, the experiences, and it's life experience on the job history. Okay. Um, so 10 practical ways to grow your business, improve customer service. You guys decide to wake up every day and live an average life or live an exceptional one, and also give okay service or give exceptional service. It's up to you. Make the commitment to wake up every day and give exceptional customer service. Upsell existing clients. Okay, well, you're looking at 300,000, but I know you want that 400,000. Show it. It's got a pool and a gym. These Casa is in Spanish. These HOA amenities are like top notch, top notch. Workout gyms and they're. I mean, once again, I mean saunas and lazy rivers and all that other stuff. So they might have called you. They only wanted a $2,200 payment, but if they end up going to Perry Homes, all of a sudden they might have spent 200,000. They could pay it, but if you don't expose them, I mean, it happens at the dealership as well. They go in and buy thinking that they want, that Ford Ranger at 999, and then they leave with the, with the 359. Oh, you usually end up with a different car. I mean, the leather's mesmerizing. The smell of the smell of a new house is mesmerizing, right? So you never know upselling. Um, Increase repeat purchases. Reach out to your past clients. Ask them if there's anybody looking to buy on some list. Uh, Build partnerships. Create a referral program. Offer to pay them a referral. Okay, it's $50, and it can't be in exchange for cash. Okay. Also, you can also market. Hey, if your niece, your whoever buys a house, I'm going to give a rebate. I can only give you $50, but if your aunt or uncle, your niece buys with me, I will take care of $1,000 of your closing costs. Or let's say 2,500 if it's the higher price point.
Redfin, like offer like a 20% of their commission. I had like a buyer,
depends.
they were looking and they didn't sign with the Redfin. And they called me and asked me if I offer like a 20% for their closing costs. And I said, okay, absolutely, I will do that.
Okay.
And I paid them 20%.
How much was it?
Yeah.
How much was it?
200, 200. Yes, like 2,500.
200,000, so 3% was 6,000. So
Yeah.
$600,
Uh,
1,200.
it was like I paid them 1,000, 20,000. That's
Right.
nothing.
That's
Yeah.
because what it is that USAA does it, maybe Fed does it. There's a lot of credit unions that does it. They try to steal you because no doubt about it, guys. Randolph Brooks, Security Service, anybody, Veterans United is also a real estate company. You have to pay them over the phone.
And I asked them
Okay,
why,
right.
like I didn't sign with them. They said because they weren't like honest, because once before I show them the house, I'll send all the documents if there is any problem with the house or any foundation issue or that they like it all this.
Yeah, I mean, well, the main thing is that you secured the business because you offered a rebate. Okay.
Yeah, maybe
So once again,
yes.
the agent that is getting the referral has to pay 40%. So they get to keep 60 minus whatever they have going with the broker. They end up getting from that 40%
They
only
offered the 20% already to
the
them.
bank or the agent.
No, the agent.
Yes, but I'm talking about, let's say USAA, maybe Veterans United. They offer a rebate back to even realtor.com. They might give them a rebate of $1,000, but they collected $3,000 So don't ask them. You want to ask them specifically what the rebate that they're getting was for, not the percentage that the realtor said. I mean, and I don't know why the realtor would disclose that to the client. Oh, I have to, I get to work with you and you're, I've got to pay a 40% referral via, you know, this third party company. Those conversations, I would hate that they take place. But, because in the end, they don't get that 40%. They only get, maybe 30 or 40% of whatever that real estate is. So,
Yeah,
so
it goes to that.
all for the matching, for the matching. So, optimize your online presence, right? Improve your systems and track your numbers weekly if you can. Now, building your team. The number one, the number one vendor that you guys need to set up always, whether you're a new agent or whatever, is your lender, especially into the future, guys, because we're gonna have to when the market starts to shift, and it might not happen this year. Maybe on the properties that are creep ups, it will happen. The house on the corner, overlooking the city with a pool, whatever. That house probably will get multiple offers. At that moment, the compensation will need to be refigured, right? But in a year or 2 years, when it turns into a seller's market and the buyer needs to pay for it, and we need to charge it to them, we're gonna need to see a buyer's rep agreement, we'll need to rework it in the deal, because then it's kind of like paying for the credit report, appraisal report is gonna be a cost to the buyer because the solution to pay. Okay, so your lender becomes ever so crucial because then even upon being pre-approved, they can't tell you they have $100,000 at Frost Bank and this is the account number, but you can ask. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is the bottom? Well, it's an A. Um, can you give me a range of where the credits is? Is it in the 600s? Is it over 700? Is it over 800? Oh, yeah, it's over 7. Okay, great. Now, do they have money, a sufficient amount of money for down payment, for closing costs? And in the event that they go with the cream pump, do they have sufficient amount of money to cover my compensation? You have every right to ask that because you're getting ready to make a business decision. And if they only have the down payment, they don't have closing costs, and they want to be within a 1 mile radius of their mother because they have small children, they're not going to end up at a new home, right? 90 and 2 left. They're going to end up, in a certain zip code closer to mom and dad, like maybe in an old home in the existing market. And yes, there's down payment assistance and those kinds of things, but in the end, going in, you have every right to know that if push comes to shove, they will. I mean, hey, I asked you if they had the money for down payment and closing costs as well as my compensation because that house has 20 offers. So my only choice is to work for free, and I would have preferred to know in February of 2026 rather than in August of 2026 when the kids are heading back to school and here I'm not getting paid. They're going to get their house. How many calls, how many emails, through our appointments, Saturday and Sunday, and then for me to get paid. And if that lender won't give you that information, you need to change gears for because it's a joint venture, right? Okay? Because you're not asking them where the money is and what account number and all that will adjust. You're asking if they can purchase this home, can they cover all of their costs? And if they're unwilling to tell you, you know, don't do it. I mean, you will never close another deal with that loan officer. Trust me, you won't. Okay. So full transparency. And once again, when I give somebody a pre-approval, I make sure that it's going to close. We have a 99% closing ratio. So what ends up happening is it happens uh, because I get it. You guys work after hours and weekends, national holidays, right? And then to not get paid, I mean, it would break my heart. So, but once again, you're gonna have to set expectations accordingly as the market starts to shift. But the lender's probably the number one person that you need to sing with because they're also are a factor in your compensation. Okay, your title company, same thing. You need to be privileged to find out if there's any title issues at all on a transaction. You don't want the deal to blow up. Okay, and I know the good, the bad, and the ugly on which title companies do their due diligence and tell you, hey, your sales price is this, but there's like $300,000 in IRS tax liens. They got sued or whatever, UCC filings and everything. And I'm not sure if this is going to consummate. Well, if they tell you on day 5 or 10, it's not a big deal. You'll figure this out, but not the day of closing. That would be bad practices. Uh, um, Now, your home inspector, same thing. And I know that I had this discussion with several folks. It's your business, and you guys are out there. If you have 2, 3 home inspectors or termites, you can say these are the people that I use and these are the people that I trust and I've had experience. Because trust me, guys, there's some home inspectors, and it just happened to me 2 Mondays ago. It was a multiple offer situation on a home, and they got their own home inspector and they got a structural engineer out there, and the guy killed the property, killed the opportunity. It was on 2 acres in the northeast. They probably could have worked from home. Their business limited radius. But in the end, it could have served as commercial and residential as well. And just thinking about it, I'm like, oh, it was terrible, terrible. The realtor didn't dictate, hey, we might want to use this. There's home inspectors that don't care if you close. They don't. They don't care about the family. I got to pay for 4 different home inspectors, and I'm like, it's the same variable. It's a brand new home. What do you mean you're canceling? You know, it's the inspector. But anyways, credit repair company, insurance agent, your home warranty folks, make sure you have good relationship with them. The termite inspector I mentioned. Guys, the way you add value, definitely into the future, is being relevant after the transaction. People right now need help with homestead forms, pricing their insurance a year later, and they better know that the day that you close, that your relationship doesn't end here; it starts here. You don't spend any money without calling me. If you need an electrician, a plumber, a HVAC person, you need some sheetrock done or painting, whatever, we have an approved vendor list. Okay, there's no sense of me getting it to you right now because it gets updated frequently. Because if somebody burns their clients, they get off that list. Conversely, if there's somebody that gives good prices, good quality work, they're going to be on that list. So it updates every month. So when you need something, make sure you call me. Okay. Um, Financial services and investment. All of you guys could know somebody that does financial services and investments. Okay. Um, because if they can refer you somebody, they're usually people that they already know that they have their know those kind of things. Uh, you have to have your team that does videography and photos, right? It's part of your team, your home staging people, interior design. You have to have those people. There's a lot of realtors right now that are getting that designation as well as they're offering as part of their listing to do the staging and design. Okay, giving them the competitive advantage, right? It's just another complimentary service that you need to be in my giving. Um, Property cleaning and handyman services, right? Hey, let me get my people in because this place needs to get cleaned up. They're going to do it for free, but they're not going to rob you blind either. It's at reasonable prices. Um, Landscaping and curb appeal enhance long-term and short-term property managers. Okay, moving services, utility transfers. We have a service that takes care of that, transfers the utilities, but they're also trying to sell them a security system and a water softener and everything else. Um, and and make sure, guys, and I know that I've talked to you some of you here, real estate attorneys. That is like being a cardiologist, guys. To me, that's a specialty. Because trust me, if you're an attorney and you're not a real estate one, you need a realtor because this is a specialty. Okay. Um, so the last thing that I'm going to mention to you, if I cover everything, I know that it's a lot of time, is it? Or one. No, 1:30. 1:30. Okay, so talk about time service. Okay, you can advocate for your people, advocate for your team. It's okay. I'd rather you do that than leave it to them because they want to get convenience. They're depending on you. Okay, because there's folks getting that list of home inspectors. That's like 200 of them. Because that's what they teach you at when you get in. Here's the home inspector list. And then they're like looking at you, they're like, okay, who's gonna call all those people? Like really? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Treat your clients like if you're checking them in to their first day at date. Okay. And if that means, hey, here's 3 home inspectors, here's 2 lenders, I'm okay. I've had experience with all of them. Highly recommended. It doesn't matter who you use, but the other 3 that I use. Or you're more than welcome to Google, but good luck. Okay. You can control the situation. I will back you up. Okay. As long as they're good, because normally they all have the NO as well. Okay. Now, adding value, we have to continue adding value. We want to add value to you guys. So, one of the things that we're going to do is be offering a package to many of you that are, we only have 20% of the agents in this office living the corporate life. What does that mean? How many of you guys have an LLC? You get right at 20%. Okay, well, you're self-employed. Okay, and if you guys didn't get the class, you're going to get the class now. Briefly, and then I'm going to go into detail because I'm going to be having classes specifically to do this. Guys, when you are self-employed, there's two lives. You either live the sole proprietor life, that if you die, the business dies with you, and if you get sued, but you can lose everything, and they can file a lien on your house and everything else. Okay, or you live the corporate life and have an LLC, because then you have an EIN, which is like a social security number. Okay, it's protect your assets. So we are going to have a package for you guys. My goal is to ensure that everybody is an LLC before the end of the year. It's not free because it involves a number of things. There's like 20 or 25 steps, but you need to live the corporate life. Because if you use your personal debit card or credit card, then it goes under scrutiny on whether it's allowed. When you live the corporate life, all you have to use that credit card, and it's easier for your CPA. Now, even on your vacation, you're going to go on vacation and you go to Mexico, make sure that you walk into a real estate office, that you're taking online classes. I know that there's even a cruise that's offered for renters. Yeah. Yeah. So once again, you plan your vacation accordingly, pay classes, walk into brokerages, walk into new homes. I mean, there's things that you can do to ensure that your entire vacation is written up. Okay, and if you don't know about it, we're going to be talking about that significantly more. Okay, and we will set up ENs and DUNs, and there's like 20 different steps. There's business addresses. Well, thank God we have a business address here, but toll free numbers for you guys and everything else. It's going to be a complete package. But the main thing that we want to do is that if you're in real estate, you're not jumping on an opportunity in real estate. Because how many times do you get that call? And that was the conversation I had with all these guys when I'm that security. They actually look for my class. And man, but I get all these folks telling me, hey, we'll buy my house and da 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 da. So you see, they told you you're not even in real estate. Imagine if you were a realtor, they'd be calling you because they can't fix the home, but they need to sell that. Because when you're a realtor, they call you first. Hey, I have this house and I'm needing to sell, and I mean it's not financeable, and my grandma's a quarter and all of that. Okay, you guys are privileged to those conversations. Okay, there's always an opportunity, but like I said, you need to protect your assets. You need to be structured correctly because ultimate goal is for you guys to tap into business funding, and that's going to be new to PRG Platinum. There's no other broker in the city that's going to be offering this space. Okay, we're going to be able to provide you business funding between $100 to $300,000 in unsecured credit. I mean, we have to structure your profile correctly. You have to follow the plan. Okay, for part of it will be credit cards, business stacking, will be personal, or on this EIN for your LLC, because there's no reason that you can't buy a house, don't buy a car, and can't go on vacation and itemize everything through your LLC. Okay, and live the corporate life. Okay, and that's what we're going to show you in 2026. Now, conversely, we're going to get you guys set up, but then there's always an opportunity with your folks because then all of a sudden you guys know the electrician, the plumber, the handyman, the tax repair. I mean, I would think of the tax repairs, but uh, um, there's going to be a lot of folks, the chopper truck even, that they're living life as a sole proprietor. Okay, that's very high risk. Imagine adding value. Like, hey, are you an LLC or are you a sole proprietor? I said, yeah, but I'm a sole proprietor. I'm like, well, you're the CEO. You really need to get your assets protected. What happens if something happens? I mean, do you have a will? Do you have your business in order? I mean, you don't. All they're going to do is come in and shut you down because then, it's just not what all we want you to be. And let's say I was already part. I mean, you've already bought a house, you bought investment properties from me. I can't allow this to happen. We need to just right, adding value to your friends and your family. Okay, and then also hopefully we can get them funding as well.
When will these classes start?
Probably within the next 30 days. They will be one class in March. Okay, and then we will probably post the things we need to do to get you posted up as a uh, work on that business profile first because it needs to be packaged correctly from that funding to take place. Okay, but yes, yes. So, but once again, I know that a lot of you guys are going to be able to tap into it. But when you're an LLC and you get a credit card from American Express, Bank of America, and well, to be structured correctly, because you're not using your home address, you're not using your social security number, right? And then you're not using your mobile number. That if you're structured correctly, we're gonna be able to secure um, opportunities for it at 0% for 12 to 18 months.
Wow.
Through American Express, Visa, Mastercard, but you have to be structured correctly. Okay, so we're gonna get you guys structured correctly, and if you guys have businesses that you need us to help, we're gonna be able to offer that opportunity as well. Because for many folks, I mean, I have done cash out refinances for people here, so that way they could bail somebody out because they were wanting to take over a business and stronger leadership. We're going to be able to have different options, whether it be um, credit cards, credit lines, uh, loans, as well as SBA loans. Okay, so that is coming this year. Okay, because it's coming. There's a lot of folks that are continuing to reach San Antonio. There's opportunities. I wake up every day going like, wow, the amount of opportunities that we will have in San Antonio. We already have them now. Okay, but no doubt about it, people will continue to move here. This is the number one city in affordability. More than 35% of our inventory is under 300,000 in San Antonio, more than Austin, Houston, or Dallas. So if you're already thinking about affordability, where do you think you're going to end? Right? And we have the nicest people. All right, you guys. That is it. Like I always say, wherever your journey might take you, you know this.